So today's going to be my project pan video. I'm sure none of you have probably been keeping track, but this video is actually getting uploaded a couple of days late. Sorry about that. I just did not have a moment to film it until now. So obviously I've had a couple extra days on my products. I'm making a few changes this month because I feel like I'm doing quite well with some of the products and not so well with others. But I'm just going to show you my progress. So first, empties. My Victoria's Secret Body Mist in Pure Seduction. I really enjoyed this, but I don't think I'd buy another one because I love the scent so much, but it just didn't last, and I prefer sort of an eau de parfum or something like that that's last. I knew I'd finish this month because I only had that much left that month and I've just used that little bit up. The next empty is this Freedom Priming Water. Again, I had such a tiny bit left last month, that much left, and I finished that easily within I think a few days of this month starting. This Collection Cream Shadow, I had a little bit left last month, finished it off now. This Makeup Forever Concealer Palette, if you watched my products I regret buying, you will have seen my rant on it. I actually managed to hit pan on one of the shades, and I scraped the green shade out because I hated it and I wasn't going to use it, but I've actually decided I'm not going to use any of this up, and I'm not going to keep it in my project pan anymore because I find it an absolutely horrible product. It's greasy, it doesn't cover anything. I don't enjoy using it whatsoever, so I'm getting rid of this out of my project pan, and I'm also going to declutter it from my collection. Another empty, the Makeup Forever Aqualiner. I think I had about this much left, and I've been using it a lot for pop of colour under my lower lash line, and also as a lid colour some days. So I really enjoyed that and I finished that up. I had a MAC mascara sample in there. I finished that up. I actually found another one and I finished both of those, but I'm going to count that as one product because one of them wasn't really supposed to be in anyway. I didn't particularly like either of those. They were okay, but I wouldn't buy a full size because MAC mascaras are quite expensive. I just don't feel like either of them were very good, or even compared to some of the cheaper mascaras that I've tried. So I actually added a pigment in last month, and I showed you it was the Collection 2000 pigment, and I said that it was quite old, but I thought it was going to be okay. Well, I used it on my eyes the first day after the project had started, and it smelled, I didn't notice it smelled a little strange, but it was powder, so I know powders take a lot longer to go off, but it definitely had a funky smell, and my eyes actually felt a little bit sore last night, so I'm removing this from my project pan, and I'm also decluttering all the rest of those pigments that I had. I think they're just too old. So I had these Collection 2000 pigments as well, which are really pretty, but I'm going to get rid of them because I don't want to risk using old makeup that's going to cause a reaction or anything. But at least this project has caused me to realise that that's old and that shouldn't be in my collection, and it's making way for new stuff and making sure that I'll notice new stuff more. Next, the Aurora highlighter. Well, it's an Illamasqua highlighter in Aurora. I feel like I've made a lot of progress with this month. I've been actually remembering to use it, that's why. So that pan has gotten a lot wider. My Pixie Brow Gel I've mostly forgotten to use, to be honest. That was my line last month. It actually looks like it's gone up, but I think it must be the way the product's laying, or it's resettled maybe a little bit, because I definitely have used it some, but I know I've not used it much. I used it quite a bit, so I feel like there's about maybe half gone. I started working mostly on that side, so I've been enjoying that, but I can't use it as a base like some of my other Maybelline colour tattoos, so I know it's going to take a little bit longer to finish. My pink lip liner, I remembered to use it nearly every single day, and I've got it on now. It's quite a nice bright pink, which has been really nice for the summer. So this is how big it is now. And this is how big it was last month. So as you can see, I've worked quite a lot of progress with that. I think I could finish this in another month. Next, the Rimmel blush I was using. I've hit pan on this. So if you look, it was just starting to wear the logo off last month, and now I've hit pan and there's quite a significant dip in it, so I'm quite excited about that. So I'm doing really well with that blush. Again, I really like it. It's quite a peachy summer shade, so I really enjoy it. Bobbi Brown liner, I honestly haven't used much this month. I feel like it pretty much looks the same as it did last month. I'm happy just working through that because it's something that I use most days anyway, but obviously you don't need a lot, so. And this is what I've been most excited about working through, my Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance. So it's starting to look a bit worse for wear now, but I'll show you it. So as you can see, I've used up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shades. I've used up Tempera, Golden Ochre, Vermeer, Raw Sienna and Primavera. I've hit pan on Love Letter, Red Ochre, Buon Fresco, Realgar, Warm Taupe and Cypress Umber. So I was in a bit of a dilemma this month. I was sort of deciding whether I should continue with this palette, because honestly I'm wanting to branch out to some of my other palettes now, or to keep going because I feel like I've finished a lot of the palette. So there's 3 shadows that I've not hit pan on and 6 shadows that I have hit pan on. So I'm a bit undecided what to do. I already had to bring in some other colours from other palettes because I don't have like a base shade anymore, I don't have a highlight shade, I've used it all up from this palette. So I've been bringing in other shades from other palettes, but it's still, with this palette I'm sort of stuck to sort of the reddy colours. So if I do decide to keep it in, it's going to be another month of those sort of reddy pink tones, which I do love, but obviously I've been working on it for I think 4 months now, so I maybe would like a break from this palette. So what I might do is I might keep this palette in and bring in another palette just to give me a bit of variety, I think. So the palette, I have been using a palette regularly for my base shade, and this was one of my project pan items. So it's this palette, as you can see. Already a lot of shades are used up, but it was this shade I've been focusing on for the base shade. There's a slight dip in it, I don't know if you can see on camera, but it's only very small, and that's a massive shade, so I'll be able to get lots of use out of that, I'm not worried about that. So I think the other palette that I'm going to add in to sort of complement my Modern Renaissance palette is going to be my Naked palette, because it's quite versatile. You can get a lot of nice neutral looks out of it, so I'm just going to pop that in. I'm sure you all know what it looks like, but that's just going to allow me to change it up a little bit. So I'm going to add that in. I know that there's going to be some days when I'm going to want to use some different colours, so then I'll just pull in from my other palettes as and when I want to. So I'm going to continue project panning until the end of the year, but I think at the end of the year I might do something different. Also, I wanted to let you guys know that I'm now on a no-buy for makeup. So this is the strictest no-buy I've ever been on. I've been on a low-buy before, and once I did a no-buy for Lent, but this time is a really strict no-buy because I'm actually buying a house and I need to save every penny towards that. So even things that normally I'd just buy a new one of, mascara, I'm like, no, have I got every last drop out? Or like, if I desperately need something I buy it, but only if I've literally got nothing else left in my collection. I just used up a foundation recently, and it was so strange because normally, even though I've got a couple of foundations that are fine, I would normally buy a new one. But it's quite strange, I'm like, no, I have others that I can use. So I just used up my Estee Lauder Double Wear quite recently, but I've got my Fenty foundation, I've got a MAC foundation, I've got a Maybelline foundation, and I've also got a Dermacol foundation, so really I won't need to buy another foundation until those are used up. So I'm definitely on a no-buy for at least a couple of months. I might try and go to the end of the year, but I don't think that's going to happen. There's already things I want. I really want the Norvina palette, and I want the Wet n Wild palette, but I was thinking I probably have similar colours in my collection if I have a little look through it and shop my stash. So I might do a video on something like that. So that's my products for this month. I'm not adding a ton more in because I don't want to put too much pressure on myself to use the same things. I know that's the point of the project pattern, but I feel like I'm losing my motivation, so I don't want to put too many things in that I have to make sure I use. I'm just leaving the things in that I've got in, and I'm gonna just see how I get on with that. So thank you for watching, guys. Remember, link me to all your project pans if you're doing any. I love watching them, I love reading them if you've got a blog, or just let me know what you're trying to pan. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up and a comment. Comments I love. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.